Hello and welcome to the Devoted Outdoorsman's podcast.
What is up, Podcast Nation? I hope you guys are having an awesome deer season and an awesome week. What is today? Today is October 23rd, so we're almost, most states are open as far as I know. I don't think there's any that are closed, and everyone's out there hunting. So today on the podcast, we're going to talk with Haas from Ethics Archery, and we're going to kind of go over the hunts that we've been having and some new products that Ethics is launching. So, Haas, how was your Indiana hunting, man?
Oh, it's doing pretty good. Hey, before we get into that, though, I'm glad you said the date, man, because things kind of run together for me. So I might as well just go ahead and get this out of the way, because I might forget by tomorrow. But tomorrow's my mom's birthday, so happy birthday, Mom.
There you go, man. You got to get that out there.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have her listen to it, and then she can't get mad at me for forgetting if I happen to. But no, Indiana hunting's been going really good, man. Deer moving. We've had a few sits now. I've missed opportunities. I didn't have a chance to shoot at the deer, but I had one at 15 yards came in behind us, sitting in a tower blind with a ground blind on top of it, and we were inside. And it's funny because it's a farm that I don't, it doesn't belong to me. I'm hunting it with a friend of mine that has the lease on the farm, and he said, it's a great stand. He's trying to tell me where all the deer typically come from, and I even mentioned it. I said, well, what about behind us where the trees are? He goes, I've been hunting here for years. I've never seen a single deer come from back there. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we had everything shut behind us. Getting ready to get too dark to shoot. Got about 10 minutes light left, and I hear something out the back. I pointed out the back, and he reaches over and opens the flap, and there's like a 145 standing 15 yards from the blind directly behind us. No windows open, can't make the shot. Something, he didn't like something. He didn't smell us. I know that because the wind was blowing real hard from him to us. So I know he didn't smell us, but he just didn't like something. He turned around, kind of walked back off into the trees. So little bit of a missed opportunity on a 145, and then I had a 150 plus. So we know he's at least 150. And he came in, and he was actually standing almost at the base of the tree, but we couldn't get the camera on him and couldn't see anything through the camera. And when I drew back, I couldn't see nothing through my peep sight. So he got to walk another day. So that's all I've had so far for bucks. But I shot a big old nanny doe, an old doe, all gray, last Friday, and unfortunately I shot that thing at like 3 yards, maybe 2 yards from the stand. I mean, I could have stood with my foot touching the ladder and reached out and poked her in the eye. She was that close. So it was almost straight down. I smoked her. Arrow went through and through, and blood all over the place on the arrow, and she ended up walking off into the woods. Well, unfortunately, the woods behind my stand is owned by a different landowner, and we were denied access to get through there because he's got a couple of big bucks in there, and he didn't want us blowing them out looking for a doe. So, unfortunately, I was denied access, and still trying to figure that one out and kind of how I feel about it. I mean, I kind of get where the guy was coming from, but then again, I did just shoot and fatally wound an animal, so that should have taken some sort of precedence, and it didn't. But unfortunately, I'm not, it wasn't my call to make, so still kind of trying to deal with that one. How's your season been going?
Yeah, man. I shot a doe opening day, which I'm pretty sure I talked about on the podcast already. But I shot a doe opening day. I had some bucks coming in on camera on a pretty good pattern to a certain little transition area, and he was on there on September 29th. He was on camera at 6:50, so right at sundown, he was in there. So I was like, man, next few days he should still be on that same pattern. Went in, didn't see him, ended up harvesting that doe, and got to use those new Ethics Archery components, man. And like I said previously, I was very happy with them.
Yeah, and I understand people's skepticism of the spinning insert, but you know what? I was the same way, a little skeptical at first. I mean, the science behind it, the explanation behind it all sounds really good. And it was one of those, that type of product that you have to shoot it to understand it. Because I can explain it to you till I'm blue in the face. But when you see what it does and you experience it, changes everything.
Absolutely, man. And like I said before, I'm shooting super tight groups now that I put that that spinning insert on there. No matter what broadhead I stick on there, man, it'll be a tighter group than what I would do on a conventional setup.
Yeah, and again, you had to do it to check it out, and and I told you, I said just try it, and try to do a few different things, try different broadheads. And don't mess with the bow. Don't try to tune anything. And you did it. And proof's in the pudding, man.
It made a believer out of me, man. It really did. It kind of threw me off at first, like we previously talked about. I had to do a little bit of a sight adjustment, but once I got it all squared away, man, it just started drilling them right on top of each other. So I'm very happy with that outcome. Yeah. So are you going to be doing any more whitetail hunting?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be heading back to Indiana this weekend, and, it's getting fired up over there, at least on these farms that I have access to. And, I mean, Adam went out, and I think he said he saw 12 deer, yesterday? He saw 12 deer, and he only sat for a few hours in the morning, and then from like 3 till dark in the afternoon saw 12 deer. They rattled in 2 really nice bucks, but just couldn't get an angle for a shot. But they came charging in on a rattle bag. So things are starting to really get fired up, and the big ones are starting to move. We're starting to see them bigger and bigger every week. So it's going to get real interesting here real quick. And then I'm supposed to go to Arkansas. I'll be going out there with Punctured TV. We sponsor their show, and they're going to be doing a spotlight episode with Ethics Archery, and they're going to have me come out. They got a 12,000-acre farm out there that we have access to, and we're going to be doing some filming. We're going to be hunting hogs, whitetail deer, and then the landowner is actually going to be gifting us a couple of cow elk tags. So hopefully I'll get a chance to redeem myself from not shooting an elk in Colorado and shoot a cow elk in Arkansas. So that will be really interesting if we can make that happen. And then I got Oklahoma out there with Family Affair Outdoors TV. We're going to be going out to Oklahoma to Mike Wheeler's place and doing some hunting with them, trying to get some content for the show and have a good time with good friends, man.
Yeah, man, you definitely need to let me know when you're in Oklahoma, and we'll see what we can make happen.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you have to come up, man. Get a chance to hang out with Mike and Shannon and Justin, and it'll be a good time.
So, Arkansas elk, man, that will be definitely an interesting experience.
That was just dropped on me yesterday. Like, I knew we were going for deer. I knew we were going to be, they got hogs in the area. And then he was like, yeah, the landowner gets a bunch of tags. And I guess in Arkansas, the landowner can gift tags to anybody they want. And so the landowner was like, yeah, we'll give him an elk tag too. Go out there and kill a bunch of stuff. So I was like, heck yeah, I'll take it. That doesn't happen very often,
Yeah, man, definitely not. People just gifting elk tags. That's a pretty crazy experience.
Yeah, it's we'll see what happens, man. Hopefully we can do some justice, put one on the ground, and help the landowner too, because somebody gives you an elk tag, they better get a pretty good sizable chunk of meat out of that. You know what I mean? So hopefully we'll put some meat in his freezer too, as a thank you, and some deer and some hog, and get him taken care of in the process. So that's it's just as a thank you. So hopefully we can make that happen.
Yeah, man, with deer season ramping up all across the nation and everything, man, I've been seeing some giant bucks harvested on social media, man. I've been seeing lots of big bucks.
Oh, yeah. They're starting to, the big ones are starting to get up and starting to move around a little bit, getting that time of year, that little 2 or 3, maybe 4 week period where they finally get stupid and make mistakes. And, hopefully we can get out there and capitalize on that. And, we always dream about that big one, man. But I tell you what, I'd be happy shooting your basic, 120-inch 8-pointer too. I mean, for me, it's about the experience, the hunt itself. It's not necessarily the kill or the size of the kill. I'm looking to put meat in my freezer at the same time. I'd love to shoot a big one, but I shoot a 120, man, I'll be just as happy.
Yeah, man, it's all about the story to me, the story of the deer or the story of the hunt. Those are the things that really matter to me.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
So we kind of wanted to put this podcast together today to kind of let everyone know about the new products that Ethics has coming out, man, or actually are already out. They're already available online, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, they are. Yeah, we've done some big things in this industry with innovation. Obviously, the spinning insert is a one-of-a-kind concept and one-of-a-kind product. So we've had that out for a while now. And, we're kind of known for innovation, and we've really ramped it up this time. So anybody who hasn't gone to Ethics Archery already, definitely go check it out. We don't just do components. We do spinning inserts, static inserts. Everything's, most of everything's adjustable. We do outsert systems, field points, weight collars, knock bushings, and we do everything for hunting and target. We do a lot of stuff. Basically anything goes in the front of your arrow, we've got something for it. But some of the big things that are coming out right now, and this is kind of exciting because the archery industry has never seen this before. And what I mean by that, and I got to be clear, just so we don't have a bunch of traditional guys, getting on here and giving us heck for it, So, yes, trad guys, you've been doing the same concept for the last 40 years. What I mean by new to the industry and the first time the industry's ever seen it is this is the first time that this type of product has been available from a manufacturer standpoint, where anybody can just go to a website and buy it, or go to your local dealer and buy it. If your local dealers don't have Ethics Archery and they're not dealers for it, start asking for it. Tell them you want them to carry it, because that'll give you more direct access, and it helps the mom and pop shops, and we're all about that. So definitely do that. But this product that we've come out with, so you've seen our outsert system for the micro diameter arrows, the 165, 166 micro diameter shaft. That's going to be like your Victory Vaps, your Pierce Platinums, your X Impacts, your Deep Impacts, those types of shafts, right? Everybody knows that those types of shafts have to have an outsert system. So we made our outsert system for that, and it's the strongest system on the market you're going to find. It's most adjustable. Well, then we stepped it up, and we made it for the 204 ID shaft, something like your Victory Rips, Black Eagle Rampage, that sort of thing. So we've come out with 2 more sizes. We now have a full lineup for the new Black Eagle Spartan arrow, which is a 224 inside diameter. The one-of-a-kind shaft, the only shaft in that size, in that internal diameter size. And we've created the outsert system for that. So it's a full lineup there from 40 grains to 180 grains, ready to rock. Anything in between. The real kicker here is we have now created or retrofitted that same exact outsert system to fit standard diameter shafts. We're talking 244, 245, and 246 standard diameter shafts. This is your gold tip XTs, your gold tip hunters, your Victory V-Forces, zombie slayers, carnivores. The most common shaft size out there is that standard diameter. And the industry's never had a viable option for structural integrity and for that size shaft. It's always been just your standard insert. And you could either use brass or you could use the standard aluminum that came with it, right? that's really all that's been available for a standard diameter shaft. Now we have this viable option of extreme structural integrity. So there's a lot of people, if you've only shot a 244, 245, 246 standard diameter shaft, you may not even know what an outsert is or what it's for. Typically for the smaller diameter arrows, it's used for a broadhead adapter and then also adds structural integrity to the arrow. For the standard diameter user, we're not worried about a broadhead adapter, obviously, because it's going to fit, right? But for structural integrity, this is going to be a game changer, because, I mean, how many guys out there have looked at Facebook, or how many times has this actually happened to you guys, you know, some of the listeners, where you shoot, you get an angular shot, you know, it's not the best angle, and you accidentally hit like a shoulder blade, and the arrow breaks off right behind the insert, it snaps, you get 2 or 3 inches of penetration, deer runs off. You see this day in and day out during hunting season. Am I right?
You're right, man. I agree 100%.
Well, that's because there's never been a viable option to stop that from happening. Now, there is. Now you've got a system that is fully adjustable. It's going to give internal strength with the internal footer, the post that goes inside the shaft. It's going to give the internal strength. It's going to boost it. Then, with the added sleeve that goes over the top of the arrow shaft and the post that's inside, you're getting an external footer. So now you've just taken all 3 components, your insert, your outsert sleeve, and your arrow shaft itself, and made it one cohesive unit because of the way that these fit. Now, yes, you have to do a little bit of extra work with these. It's more of a custom type option. So there's a little bit of extra work to be done. I've got a video on YouTube, Ethics Archery Installation. Shows you everything you need to know in order to do the install on these. It's super simple. It's not complicated. And it gives you a reason to kind of mess around with the archery stuff. So that's a good thing. But you take your time, go slow, do it right, and you'll have the strongest arrow that you're going to be able to shoot. I mean, these things are beasts. Now it's going to stop those breakages from happening, because when you have an arrow set up where your broadhead, your component system, being the insert, outsert system, whatever you're using, and your arrow shaft work together as one cohesive unit, and it's strong. You got to have that strong bond so that nothing fails on the shot. When you build that, you're increasing your lethality. You're reducing wound loss. You know, wounding a deer and not finding it penetration issues because something failed. The arrow broke, whatever. That's no longer an issue. And this is the first time the industry's ever seen this from a manufacturer. So that's kind of a big deal.
So for the people that don't necessarily understand why they need an outsert or an insert or outsert or any of these components, why are the main reasons that they would want something like that? Or is it because of, you know, in previous history, maybe they shot an animal and their arrow broke, or other circumstances may have had an outcome?
Well, I mean, a lot of guys that have already had that happen are going to jump on this because they're going to realize you never want that to happen. If it's happened to you, it sucks. You know, but this is preventative, man. I mean, this is preventing that from happening. I mean, because realistically, let's think about this, guys. All the money we spend on bows, arrows, gear, gas, everything that it takes to go hunting, right? All the time in the field and prep, all this other stuff, right? How many thousands of dollars do you think each one of us puts in? Quite a bit. If you were to actually tally everything up, man, there was a ton of money there, right? Now imagine this. Imagine the biggest buck you've ever seen steps out at 25 yards. He's sitting broadside. You get drawn back on him. He has no idea you're there. You shoot. For whatever reason, he took a step. He backed up. He ducked down. Something happened after the shot that you cannot control. And you hit that animal in the shoulder. And he goes to turn. He runs away. Snaps your arrow off. and there's no blood on the ground. You've got a broken arrow. It's got 2 inches missing from the front end of it, and he's gone. Now imagine the sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach. And some people out there, including myself, had that happen. Okay? It's not a fun feeling, and it sucks, and you can't take it back. Not only did you wound an animal, but, I mean, that's a huge, that could potentially have been the biggest deer you ever seen, ever shot, or ever could shoot again. Now, imagine yourself in that situation. How many of you out there would, at that point in time, gladly give $45 to anybody to reverse that and make it to where that arrow actually went through and got adequate penetration and you recovered your animal? How many people will you think would pull $45 out gladly without even thinking about it? Because it's actually
everyone, man,
bucket compared to everything, right?
I agree. I think everyone would.
That's what it costs for that component system. $44.99. And you prevent that from happening. So why not prevent it instead of it happening to you and then going and doing it afterwards? Don't even let it happen in the first place. Prevent it from happening.
So let's say that someone buys a set of these, and what is necessary for you to install them on your arrow? Do you need to take it to a pro shop, or is this something that someone could do at home?
Oh, you can do this right at home. And it's, it does take some tooling, but it's average stuff that people normally have laying around the house, right? We're talking sandpaper. We're talking any kind of drill, whether it be corded, cordless, doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be a big one. It can be a little bitty one. It doesn't matter. And then we're talking some Q-tips, some rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, acetone, anything like that, and some sort of clamping system, whether it be a vise, a C-clamp, something of that nature. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to create a lathe using a drill. So I have a vise at home. So what I'll do is I'll clamp the handle in that vise, and I'll chuck the arrow knock side and just put it in there and hand tighten it. It doesn't have to be super tight, just hand tight. And then you lock it in the on position. You'll grab the middle of the arrow because it's going to have kind of a funky whip to it. If you don't, you got to stabilize it. You're basically just going to hold it about halfway through the arrow, stabilize the spinning of that arrow, and you take a piece of sandpaper from the back side and you can actually sand it. And it looks like a lathe because you can watch that line as you're sanding. So it's very accurate. It's going to be smooth. You're not going to have high and low spots. And you can do it a little at a time very quickly. So you hit it, sand it a little bit, and just test fit that sleeve and see if it goes over top. Now, you're not looking for a loose fit, and you don't want to have to force it on there by leaning on the arrow, but you should be able to, a little bit of pressure and get a nice snug fit. The whole point behind the system is to create zero movement within the components and the arrow shaft itself. You'll notice the posts inside fit really tight. They fit really nice. And then you're just sliding that sleeve over, and you just want a nice pressed fit. You just don't want it loose on there, and that's what you're looking to do. And the reason why we require the sanding on most shafts, not every shaft is going to be that way, but the majority of them will, is so that you get the perfect fit every time. And you're accomplishing two different things. So by reducing any kind of movement within the component system in the shaft, makes it stronger. That's where it's at its strongest. Okay, so, which is the whole reason why you're buying the product in the first place. So, you're also going to have concentricity. So it's going to spin true every time because there's no way for it to move. If you're shooting a straight arrow and you put a straight component on there, it's not going to wobble. Everything that we do is super high quality, and the tolerances are second to none. So it's, you don't have to worry about the components being bent or anything like that, especially because everything's milled out of solid bar stock. So concentricity is already there. But by not having that movement, you're getting rid of any chance of that wobble in your arrow. So, and it's super simple. I mean, it's a few little tools, and watch the video and have at it.
So how much weight is this adding to the end of your arrow? Are there different sizes, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, so there's different sizes. You got to know the OD of your arrow. We have a general list that's going to kind of get you in the ballpark. Not every single arrow shaft is going to be listed on there. If it's not listed on there, do a little research. Find out what the OD, or outside diameter, of your shaft is. Make sure you're paying attention to the make, the model, and the spine, because they all change. So when you're looking it up, make sure you know those three things and figure out what your OD is. If you don't want to have to do research, you can go get a caliper set from Home Depot for $12. Measure it. So, and then you'll figure out which one you need to order. Or you can just call me, and I'll help you figure it out, so you know which one to order.
You could definitely call Haas, because he's what have you been referred to as, the arrow doctor?
Yeah, thanks to Working Class Bowhunter Podcast, those guys over there. Shout out to those guys. Yeah, they kind of gave me a nickname of the Arrow Doctor, so we're gonna roll with it.
I think it's suiting. I think it works out pretty good.
I like it. You know, it's nicknames like that kind of, they're a blessing, and they can kind of be detrimental at the same time, because if for some reason, somebody calls me and says, hey, I need a recommendation, I give it to them, and something went wrong for whatever reason, then that's kind of on me. Whether it was them following my directions to the T or not, it's still going to fall on me. It's just kind of the way it works. But it is nice that that I'm starting to get noticed for. I put 18 years into this industry in learning my craft, and I definitely don't know it all. I'll tell you that. I learn stuff every day, and you're never going to master this sport, and there's always something to learn. That's what I love about it. But even more so, what I do know, I like to educate people. I want to share that with people to get them and to understand that the gain of knowledge on everything that you do, especially in archery, man, if you can gain a little bit, definitely do it, because it just makes you better off. And I like to share what I know. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, I guess.
So what'd you say the price was? You said it was $45.99?
$44.99 is $45, plus shipping, unless you go to a dealer. And that's a 12-pack. That's going to get you 12 sleeves and 12 posts. So that's both components for each arrow for a dozen arrows.
And will these work with just any broadhead, or is there a certain broadhead that will work better with them? Because there's a lot of people. There's a whole any broadhead. That's what we like to hear.
Anything unless it's deep 6. So as long as it has a standard thread of 8/32, you're fine.
So with this product being launched here in the past few weeks, do you guys have anything else that's exciting that you guys are going to be launching in the next year that you can tell us about?
Oh, yeah, we got a few things. Few things I can't really talk about too much in detail, but let's just say, let's keep an eye out. I'm actually currently designing, and we're in prototype right now for a broadhead. I'm creating a broadhead for Ethics Archery. Ethics Archery is going to have its own, and we're going to start with the smaller one first. Same profile, same everything. When we do come out with the larger, heavier broadhead, it'll look identical, just bigger. So we're going to have a couple different broadheads out, working on that. And we're working on another thing that I can't really talk about, but let's just say anybody out there that is into traditional archery, you're going to want to keep a close eye on Ethics Archery here over the next 5 or 6 months.
So you guys do make components for like triad shooters as well, too, right?
Oh, our components are, see, here's the thing. So Ethics Archery, if you look at the logo, it's got that flint-napped broadhead as part of the logo. There's a reason for that, because Ethics Archery started off as a traditional company. Everything that Ethics Archery did in its conception was strictly for traditional archers and traditional equipment. And then it evolved, and we started doing compound application. And then, obviously, because the market was bigger, we kind of, and the sales were coming from there, we kind of put our focus towards strictly compound. But let's be honest, man, I mean, everybody's like, oh, you guys got a lot of really heavy stuff. Well, yeah, that's not just for, I mean, it's great for trad guys. They need that stuff, right? They look for it. They want it. But it's not just for them. Once you really start getting to higher FOC, heavier total arrow weight builds, and understanding the benefits with tuning and arrow flight and penetration and just everything about it, once you get into that, you'll notice that the possibilities are almost endless with Ethics Archery. There's a few things out there, like on the extreme side, that we don't quite do yet, but if somebody wants it bad enough, let us know. We do custom work. There's a custom fee involved, but it's not going to be nearly as bad as trying to go to a local machine shop and asking them to do it. Those guys are $80 an hour, and they don't care if it works or not. But yeah, we can do all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, Ethics Archery started as a trad company, man. Everything we did in the very beginning was strictly traditional. And a lot of people don't know that. But we want to get back to the roots. We want to get the word out to the trad guys that, hey, look, we've got a lot of really good stuff over here that has a perfect application for any kind of arrow build you want to do, just about. The only thing we're not doing right now is the glue-on adapters for the trad guys. I'm not saying we won't do it. It's just something we haven't done yet. Possibly in the future if we get enough requests for it. But aside of that, you're not going to find anything that's going to be more adjustable, especially up into those weight options that are available for what you're trying to build. It's just not going to happen. We are that one-stop shop for anything for the front of that arrow.
And you've been at Ethics for a while, haven't you?
I've been here for a little over 2 years now, about 2.5 years. Yeah.
And are you still shooting? Go ahead.
I was saying I've had an opportunity to watch the company just kind of take off and grow, and be a part of that. So it's been a good journey so far. And believe me, we're not stopping here. We have big plans for this company and high hopes, and we're going to have all kinds of stuff. And in 5-10 years from now, man, we're going to have a full catalog, like a Lancaster catalog, just for the stuff that we build.
So are you bringing up Lancaster just because you're chilling in their parking lot?
No, it just seemed fitting. I'm actually parked in the Lancaster parking lot right now.
I was kind of going off topic there a minute ago. Are you still shooting your Hoyt, or are you shooting a Moxie now?
I'm still have my Hoyt for hunting. I'm still waiting on my helo to get here. But I do have my Moxie for my target bow. And that thing I love that target bow, man. It shoots better than I can, I'll tell you that much. I'm waiting to get my Moxie. I'm not going to wait on, it's just one of them things, I gotta wait my turn in line, you know what I mean? And until then, I'm not going to sit and let deer walk past me and not shoot at them. So I'm currently using my Hoyt. But I can't wait to get that helo in.
Are you using a similar arrow setup in your Hoyt and your Moxie for your competition and hunting? No, my competition, my 3D arrows are way different. He's shooting fat shafts, a lot lighter arrows than what I do for hunting. FOC is still pretty high, especially when you're talking target stuff. Now, and this is 3D, not indoor.
Indoor, obviously, you'll have a lot higher point weights and whatnot there, but I don't do a whole lot of indoor stuff. I'm mostly a 3D guy for competition. So yeah, it's completely different setups.
So this is another kind of off-topic thing, but have you eaten any of your bear yet?
Absolutely, man. That thing is delicious. I had jalapeno cheddar summer sausage made out of him and some bratwurst, and we've been eating the heck out of it, actually. It's delicious.
Yeah, man, I was lucky. Dude, I agree with that 100%. It's all in how it's prepared and how it's handled.
Yeah. You know what you're doing, and get them glands out of there, and don't let your knife or your gloves, your hands touch those glands, and then touch meat. And, getting it cooled down properly, and, getting it quartered up correctly, splitting all the muscle groups properly, and, you got to know how to do all that stuff. And, getting it to a butcher if you're going to take it to a butcher in a timely manner, knowing how to gut it properly and not leaving pools of blood inside the animal, making sure you clean that carcass out real good. All those things come into play. And then if you're going to, obviously when cooking, if you can't cook worth a darn, your food's not going to taste good. I don't care what kind of meat it is. So you got to get proficient in the kitchen.
Yeah, man, I was lucky enough to harvest a hog on, I believe it was Saturday afternoon. And when it all went down, do what?
Yes, I remember because you sent me pictures immediately.
Yeah, man. Right after it happened, I was pretty stoked about it, and then it kind of sank in that now I got to get this thing out of here because I was in an area that doesn't allow vehicles or ATVs or anything like that. So it was an interesting experience.
Was that your first pack out?
That was the first time I actually packed one out because I thought it would be an easier deal than trying to drag it. And it really was. It really was. But it was about 2 miles from the truck. And I ended up making a trip back to the truck to take my camera gear and everything. And then coming back with the lower part, actually the part that you stand on of my API climbing stand. And dude, I just strapped a ratchet strap to that hog to it and used it as a frame and carried it out. It took me a little while, but yeah.
Well, when I'm down there and we can get a chance up over there in Oklahoma, we get a chance to hook up. I'll show you how to make a backpack out of an animal. Makes it a lot easier. You can carry them out, you gut them out, and you can actually fold the animal using the tendons and stuff. Super simple. Once you've done it a couple of times, you can actually make that animal a backpack and wear it on your back and pack it out.
Yeah, I've been looking into it a lot online here recently since I had this experience, and I've seen some different methods where they like take the deer's leg and they break it like in the shank, well not break it, but cut it in the shank area and fold it through. I think it was you fold the front legs through the back legs. And I think I'm definitely going to end up trying that this year just to see how it works out.
I packed out a mule deer like that whole.
Yeah, man, I got that hog on my API all strapped down and everything and started carrying it out. And I got about halfway and had to stop. I was out of breath and I was just like, man, this is such a bad idea. But the pork chop
do that before you go out west.
Oh yeah, dude. Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, man, and I want to go on like an elk hunt or something. Man, I'm such a wuss. I can't even get this hog out of here.
Would that hog end up weighing about 100 pounds?
Yeah, probably. I got 64 pounds worth of meat after I had everything processed in bags and before I put it in the freezer.
That's completely deboned?
Yeah. I mean, other than like there was obviously the shoulder blades were in there, and then like the ham bones and the quarters, but I left those in there. But
probably,
yeah, man,
it's probably close about 150 pounds then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Probably like 125 when it was alive, somewhere right in there.
Yeah, probably closer to 150 if you got 64 out of it.
Yeah, man.
That's good. Good hog, man. Good hog.
Yeah, it happened real fast. I know I've had a bunch of people hit me up asking me if I got it on camera. Unfortunately, it happened so fast that I couldn't get my camera to focus, and I wasn't going to let it get away. So I just kind of put it down and started my process of removing the hog from the refuge out there.
Yeah.
Well, man, with this podcast kind of coming to an end here, is there anything else you want to say before we end this?
No, man, just, get out in the field, man, and get out in the field, enjoy what's been created for us, and, don't put just the kill as the objective. Enjoy yourself while you're out there. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, man, but I learn something about myself every time, and that's always good to do. So just get out in the field, enjoy it, and good luck in your your upcoming seasons, and hopefully we'll see you guys over at Ethics Archery. Come check us out, and again, if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to get my number off the website. The technical question number, you'll go to our contact us, and where it says for technical questions, that's my personal cell phone number. So do not hesitate. Give me a call. I'm glad to help you guys out in any way.
Well, thank you very much for coming on here and kind of telling us a little bit about your deer season so far and the new products that Ethics has coming out or has out already.
Oh, yeah. It's out. They're ready to go, man.